Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javanokelo, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.
Thank you so much for joining me for another beautiful African proverb. We are here for the daily African proverbs that happens every single day at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Clubhouse and also on YouTube. We are live streaming this conversation right now on YouTube. And whenever we gather here, we bring an African proverb, we discuss it, we gain African wisdom by the end of the conversation. So we are going to be here for an hour. Then after 1 hour, we are going to go to Instagram for the recap of this conversation. Today's proverb is from Mali, and it says, no matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. No matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. This proverb is also my latest Instagram post. You can engage with it on Instagram. If you cannot join us on stage. If you can join us on stage, this is a nice time for you to raise your hand so that I can bring you up on stage. And then at 6:30 a.m. we are going to close hand raising. So just want to share that. But for me, when I read this proverb, before I present it to you all, one more time, the proverb says, no matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. For me, this reminded me that unless you do something, your situation is most likely not going to change, but also this proverb reminded me that there are certain things that you can't change, but there are certain things that you can change. So no matter where you go, no matter what you try to accomplish so that you change a certain thing, for example, a certain passion that you have. For example, many of us in this room are probably employed, and in our hearts, we know that we want to be artists, or we want to be writers, or we want to be podcasters, or we want to be travelers, we want to do other things, but we are stuck with being, employed in order for us to earn a living. And this proverb, if we were to put it into that situation, it would also mean no matter how long, you go to the 9 to 5, it won't turn it into this passion that you have. You have to, take the courage and the action to transform your situation. But staying in the same place will not transform you, or will not make things better for you. That's my interpretation at the moment, but I know that there's going to be so much learning in this room. So I know I'll be sharing a little more as we continue. I want to introduce Toyoti so that Toyoti can also share with us his interpretation of today's proverb from Mali. Toyoti is an amazing contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. I'm really grateful for your continued support and contribution. Toyoti Heru Baku EI is a student of wisdom, history student, Kemetic student of art, student of trusts, business student, indigenous star, Amaru Khan, aborigine. Thank you so much for being here. Share with us your interpretation of this proverb.
Thank you so much, Simon. Your interpretation brought me a new understanding of that proverb. I've heard it many, many times. And as it said in my bio, I'm a student of wisdom. And I love how you put the analogy with the job situation. If you're an artist, in which I am, and you work a 9 to 5, at some point you have to just step out there and rely on your art and not expect a job to turn into uh, some type of miracle career in your field of what you do. That reminds me of what someone said the other day, that you have to give us. I went into a room and they asked, "What do you do for? What is your work?" And they said, "Don't give me your job. Give me what you're here to do, what you're here to do in the world." And that was an excellent uh, interpretation of yours. It took me by surprise. Actually, it was pretty good. But no matter how long a log may stay in the water, it'll never be a crocodile. To paraphrase, to me means that some things you can never change, no matter how much hope you have for it. And sometimes you have to uh, come out of what you're stuck in and do something different. Um, the log in the water, it's a similar proverb to what Malcolm X had once said, which he didn't make, of course, but no matter how long a leopard stays in the oven, its kittens don't turn into biscuits. And so you can only expect what's reasonable. And whatever you put your energy into is what will develop, but you can't put it into things that are impossible. And so that's a great proverb for me, for my daily step today. I will take what your interpretation was. And I don't know if anybody can beat that one about the job situation. That took me by surprise.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, Toyoti. I'm so grateful for your interpretation as well. That you should only expect what's reasonable, and what you put energy into. Yeah, it's true what you said as well, because some people plant beans and they expect maize. Some people plant bananas and they expect mangoes. So this proverb, I think, speaks to that mindset as well. I'm so excited to introduce Lexi Marlon, but before I do that, I want to welcome everyone else who is in the room. This is the Daily African Proverbs. We are currently live streaming on YouTube as well as Clubhouse, where we started this Daily African Proverbs journey in January of this year. And we've been diligent with this space because this is a sacred space. This is a space where we discuss important African proverbs that were discussed by our ancestors before. My mother raised me with African proverbs. I'm raising my daughters, sharing these proverbs with them every single day. And I know that there is more to these proverbs than what we usually see when we see them on social media or in conversation. So that's what we want to elicit in this Daily African Proverbs. So thank you for helping to make that happen. Lexi Marlon is really, really an amazing leader. She's a voiceover artist by choice, and people love her voice. She's also a dress for less guru. She's queen of forgiveness, and she's lady with the sunshine smile. And I agree, and I can, attest to that. Lexi was a guest here in the Daily African Proverbs recently, a special guest where she was live with me on YouTube, and we were able to learn a lot more about, her story. Lexi, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb from Mali. The proverb says, "No matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile." Thank you.
Yes, good morning, Simon. Good morning, everyone in the room. And my interpretation today of the proverb is it immediately made me think of um, how people can't be changed no matter what you do. Only a person can change within their self, So like it said, a log can stay in the water however long, it's never going to turn into a crocodile. To me, that speaks like it makes me think of a saying that when a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't continue on with a person if you see something in someone that that is good or bad or whatever the case may be. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. It makes me also think of a leopard never changes its spots. You know what I'm saying? So if a person is who they are, They're only going to change if they want to change, but certain things about a person will never change. No matter if it's in, just like the proverb says, no matter if it's in water. Doesn't matter that it's in the water. The water is just waterlogging the log. It's just filling it up with water. That's just, if you want another metaphor, that's just like if someone's if I'm a log and someone else is the water and someone's trying to get me to change, they're just filling me up with all their water. They're not changing me at all. Just like the log is just laying there going unchanging, never turned into a crocodile, because Lexi is Lexi. So no matter how much water of theirs they pour into me, if Lexi don't want to change, or if Lexi's not ready to change, she's not going to change. And even when I am ready to change, my changes are not going to be the expectation of someone else. They're going to be changes that Lexi feels that Lexi needs to make for me. It's still not going to make me a different person. I'm still going to be the log in the water, but I will make the changes that are consistent with my dreams, with my aspirations. That's the kind of changes that we make in life. We don't make changes conducive to what other people or what somebody else think we should be changing. No one changes because of what someone else may think they need to do. We change because of experience. Something happening in your life that wake you up to change something about yourself, or you wake up because you done hit rock bottom, or you may wake up because you've came into some level of success or something that you were not expecting, and it's like, oh yeah, now I got this, so now I'm gonna be this kind of person, or whatever the case may be. But guess what, it's always going to be some characteristics about you, some thought patterns, some beliefs, something about you. Some things about you will never change, and nobody will be able to change those things about you either, except for us. So that's my interpretation of the proverb today. Thank you. I'm Lexi and I'm out.
Wow, thank you so much, Lexi. Nobody can change certain things for you. You have to do the work and make those changes yourself. I love that, and I totally agree with it. Thank you again for being here, Lexi. Your contribution is really, really valued. Marlon, thank you for joining us today. I hope you're doing well. I would love to hear your interpretation in just a moment. And I also want to welcome everyone who has joined us for today's conversation here in the Daily African Proverbs room, in the African Father in America Club. That's on Clubhouse. And we also have people joining us on YouTube as well for the live stream of today's conversation. So thank you again to everyone who is joining us over there. There are a couple of ways you can support. You can check out the African Father in America Club. Make sure you're following the club so that, when we have events like today's Daily African Proverbs, you are amongst the first to be notified. And also, we have a number of programming that we are planning and that we are continuing with, that we've been doing here on Clubhouse and off of Clubhouse. So I just want you all to, ping in a few other people so that as we share some of this exciting news towards the end of the room, you can also, be more involved and be a part of this beautiful work that we are doing. Marlon is another amazing contributor for the Daily African Proverbs. She is wildly passionate in all things that bring her joy. The more she lives, the more she knows less. The more she lives, the less she knows, Thank you so much for being here with us, Marlon. And please share with us your interpretation of this proverb from Mali that says, no matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. The mic is yours.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for your interpretation, and thank you for having me. Grand Rising, everybody. Thank you, Lexi. That you both had beautiful contributions, and I fully agree with all of it. No matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. If nothing changes, nothing changes. I feel always consciously aware of that because the log in the water is like me being a pickle. And what I mean when I say that is I'm not a cucumber anymore. I'm a pickle because I can't go back to drinking alcohol. That's not something that I can do myself. So I'm happy being a pickle. I'm happy being the log in the water, because there's a whole world there that has opened up to me, being a pickle and being someone that can't go back to its natural state of being a cucumber. So that log in the water, it can't go back to being that natural state of a natural, just like a tree trunk that's like growing, but it can be something new and wonderful in that new world inside the water. Um, that's what came to my mind. Um, and so I appreciate y'all listening. Thank you so much. It was a beautiful quote, and I always think of something that's just helps me a lot, and I hope that helped anybody else and anybody listening here and on YouTube and everywhere. Thank you for listening. I hope y'all have a beautiful day. You're beautiful, rare beings, and I love you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Marlon, for sharing with us your words of wisdom. And it's true, sometimes you just want to stay where you are because you know why you're staying where you are. And I just appreciate your contribution. We want to hear now from Roger, but I want to let everybody else who is in the room to feel free to raise your hand to join us up on stage so that you can share your interpretation of today's proverb as well. The proverb is from Mali in West Africa, and it says, no matter how long a log stays in water, it doesn't become a crocodile. At 6:30 a.m., we are going to, that's in 13 minutes, we are going to close hand raising. So this is a good time for you to join us on stage. And also, thank you again for everyone who has joined us on YouTube. It's truly, truly appreciated. We are here in the Daily African Proverbs in the African Father in America Club. This is also African Father in America podcast. So if you are looking to watch this or listen to this conversation later on, you can go to any of the podcasting platforms and look for African Father in America, and you'll be able to catch it. But at this moment, I want to quickly pass the microphone to Roger Tan, who has been an amazing contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. Roger, thank you for all your love and support. Roger is in Singapore, and that's where he was born and raised, in sunny Singapore. And he says that as the man of the house, I absolutely always have the last word. Unfortunately, the last word is usually, yes, honey. Roger, what's your interpretation of today's proverb? Thanks a lot.
Hi everyone. Today's proverb. There's a similar proverb from China, and it says, "Ivory does not grow from a dog's mouth." Now dogs are useful. Dogs are man's best friend. But if you want ivory, you can't be a dog. You have to be an elephant. So what this proverb tells me is that we have to get out of our comfort zone and make the change. Several years ago, I wanted to be a software developer, but due to a flagging economy and the unfortunate need to eat, I was desktop support. And I stayed desktop support for 6 years, hating my job every day. Until one day, I took a pay cut. I took a position as a web developer in some tiny company and started my career afresh from zero. And it's been 15 years, and now I manage a software department in some other company. And so I say to you all, get out of your comfort zone. Change does not occur until you recognize the need for change and are willing to pay the price for it. That's all from me. I'm done speaking.
Wow, thank you so much, Roger. Change does not occur until you're willing to pay the price. Yeah, wow. Thank you very much. Sarah, welcome to the Daily African Proverbs. I've seen you many times, listening diligently to our conversation, and I'm just so grateful to hear your voice today. And Sarah Hamunyela is a development economics scholar. Thank you so much for being here with us. Please share with us your interpretation of today's proverb from Mali. The proverb says, no matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. Thank you. The mic is yours.
Hi, Simon. How are you? I'm happy to be on this platform today. Actually, two things came to my mind as I heard the proverb. First is that no matter what your situations are, they do not change until you do something. So if you are not acting on anything, nothing will change. And this speaks to my situation as I started my journey of academic. That was 2019, and I was more frequent in campus, and I could have a lot of assistance from my professors and colleagues. But in 2020, things changed, and I remained home. So I went into my comfort zone, and I started being a loner, I think, and a lot of things were not happening. So as I started 2021, I saw a different perspective, and I started a transformation journey and spoke to a lot of people, and I was seeking for a lot of help, and things just changed. And as I'm nearing the end of the year, I have seriously ticked off a lot of milestones in my plan, and that was just a realization that as I did something and acted on my situation, it has changed. And second thing that I thought of when I had the proverb, it resonates with what Lexi said. But in my case, I thought of the origin of where we are or where we're from. And myself, I'm Namibian, and for as much as one would move from where you're originally from and live elsewhere in other countries or in other spaces, you remain the person that is from that area, and it will never change. And thank you, Simon, and I'm done speaking.
Wow, thank you so much. I just love your interpretation as well, both of your interpretations of this proverb. Thank you so much. Let's hear from Effie. Effie, thank you for being here with us for today's Daily African Proverb session. I see that you are in London, UK, and you are into fintech, green energy, and blockchain. Please share with us your interpretation of today's proverb from Mali. It says, no matter how long a log stays in the water, it doesn't become a crocodile. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Simon, for inviting me onto the stage. My interpretation of that is that you can't really change someone unless they really want to change. And if you're not going to change, then there's not much you can do unless the person can actually make an active effort. So that would be my interpretation of it. So, yeah, 1 second. 1 second, hold on.
Yes, this is Simon. I missed part of your interpretation, Effie, so I'll give you a moment if you just want to share it again when you're ready.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. This was another call. So, for me, it was like you can't change someone or change like anything unless you want to do it. So, if you try and persuade someone and they got their mindset, no matter what you say, it's like they're gonna do it anyway. So unless they have the willpower or the mindset, then like they're gonna do it. So that's my interpretation of it. So it's like you can give someone advice or your opinion on something, and unless they're willing to take heed, and then they go and touch fire and get burnt by it, then that's the only way they're gonna learn. I'm done talking.
Well, you have to be willing to have the desire to touch the fire or deal with the fire. Yesterday we were the proverb that we were discussing was also around the fire, that it said you should put out the fire when it's still small, and there were really amazing conversations. And your share about today's proverb reminded me of yesterday's conversation. Our special guest was Bien Aimi Baraza. Is the lead singer for Sauti Sol. If you missed that, you can catch it on YouTube. And David also co-hosted the Instagram recap of yesterday's conversation. So thank you again, David. At this time, I want to introduce Bibi. Bibi is also an amazing contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. And she's also a fighter and just an amazing human being that I connected with here on the Clubhouse streets. Bibi says that she chooses pain over numbness any day, and she's saying, ask her why. She's also saying that happiness is an inside job. Don't assign anyone else that much power over you. Wow. Thank you very much, Bibi, for being here. Share with us your interpretation of this proverb from Mali.
Thank you, Simon. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Umi. Nice to see you. Hi, Lexi. Good to see you as well. This proverb, it just took me straight to my tribe. My tribe it's called Madi. It's spelled M-A with that little slash D-I. And my tribe originated to East Africa in the 1400s, but prior to that, it was in the West Coast. Like some parts of it are in Nigeria and some of them are in Mali. And I recently found out more about it, and more of us came from Mali, but before Mali, we came from somewhere else. And that's something that I'm gonna make it my work progress to find out more about it. But what I can say about my tribe is no matter how many years it's been, when I go back in history, we're still the same people. Like, much of us hasn't changed. We have different characteristics, and some of the things that we do, like cooking and the dances and stuff like that, by now it has been diluted so much, but the originality is still the same. And I can say about the log, just because it's in the water, where it meets up with crocodiles every now and then and mingles with them or saves them or whatever it does to them, it's never going to change because it'll always be a log. And that's what I can say with my tribe too. It's like no matter how many times it's been diluted or changed or moved from place to place, that will always be muddy and nothing will change about that. And that's my contribution for today. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Bibi. I love that. And I think that can be said of a number of tribes in Africa too. And I think that can be said of also just people of African descent in general. So you brought like an entire Clubhouse conversation by your share. Thank you so much. Now it's time to hear from Zizi, who is an amazing, queen, Egyptian queen. Zizi says that wear gratitude like a clock and it will feed every corner of your life. This is a quote from Rumi. Zizi is an award-winning, a 3 times international best-selling author, and also a spiritual poet on Amazon. So check out her books there. We recently actually explored the content of Rhapsody of Love, which is one of Zizi's most recent books. Zizi, share with us your interpretation of today's proverb. I hope you're doing well. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Simon. It's good to be back. And what I can say here is, it doesn't matter what environment we change. It doesn't change, has to come from within the person. from inside their heart and their soul. And if it that way, no matter where you put them, they will not change unless they want to change, unless they go inside themselves and look at where they want the change to be. They will remain whoever they are. So it's not the environment, it's the person within. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zizi. I agree. I agree completely. And thank you for being here with us again. It's always a pleasure to have you. Now I want to introduce Ivner, my brother from Haiti, who is also another amazing contributor to the Daily African Proverbs. I'm going to keep Ivner here with me for a while so that he can share his interpretation and also introduce Paradox and my brother Totalini and Mama Yama. Mama Yama, I've seen you in the room quite a bit in the last few weeks, and I've not heard your voice, so I'm just happy that you're on stage with us. And of course, my brother David, I'm excited to have you on stage, but there's more that I want you to share with the audience today as well. I'll be, communicating with you in just a moment, but I want to welcome Queen. Queen, I hope you're doing well. And Fido, and Tara, and Landu, and Laurel, Afrofranto, and Mag, and Vito, and Karen, and Bibi, and of course Sarah, Roger, and Marlon, and Zizi. But we have more of our friends in the audience: Lydia, Hano, Daniel, Ndakema, Don, and Effie. Thank you all for being here. Here in the Daily African Proverbs, everybody is welcome. It doesn't matter your race, your color, your religion, how much you have in your bank account. So feel free to join us on stage. In the next 2 minutes, I will be turning off hand raising. And then from there, we will just continue with the conversation. And at exactly the moment when this room ends, we are going to go live on Instagram and do the recap, where we will cover just 3 things: what stood out during this conversation, what was surprising, and also what was the biggest lesson that we learned. Thanks again for being here. And Ivner is an author. Ivner is an author of an amazing book, Alike Regardless. And we also, hosted Ivner as a guest in the African Wisdom Club, where every Friday at 8:30 p.m. we host, primarily authors and, filmmakers and innovators, entrepreneurs, people of African descent who are doing great things from across the world. We also hosted Totalini, who is also on stage with us, the founder of the Namibia Club. So if you know someone who would be great for an opportunity for us to interview them, let Ivner know, let David know, or let me know. But Ivner, thank you for being here. I want to pass you the mic so that you introduce today's proverb, just share it with people, and then guide the conversation. Thank you so much.
Grand Rising, my family, brothers and sisters, friends. It's an honor to be here to share the space with you. And thank you so much, Simon, for allowing me to speak. And thank you for putting together this amazing space here on the Clubhouse. This proverb means a lot to me because I think about us. I think about us as human beings. Most of us, to some degree, are not satisfied with the way we were created. We're not satisfied with what we have, who we are as a person. I believe our society has a lot to do with it because our society teaches us to believe that we have to look a certain way, we have to be a certain person in order for us to be the best version of ourselves. When you look at a wood, and I'm literally looking at a log, which is a piece of wood. That piece of wood can remain in the water for 100 years. It will never become a crocodile. or even a fish. When you see a log floating in the river, the log does not belong there. The log got there by accident. None of us here on the stage is an accident. You are not created by accident. There's a reason that you are here on this planet. A log can stay in the river for a long time. It does not become a fish or crocodile. Let's look at ourselves, for example. Let's give an example of skin color. You, I am, I am a dark skinned person. I may hang around light skin, white skin, yellow skin, orange skin all my life. I am going to remain a dark skinned person. So the point is, it is important that you know yourself. That is the wisest thing that you can do, is to know yourself. So the point I'm trying to make, you should not stress on the things that you cannot do. Don't stress on who you are not, because you were created for a specific reason. You were created as you because your creator wanted you to be you. Focus and stress on being yourself. Love who you are. Know that you are valuable and run your race according to your pace. Because you can float underwater all your life. You're going to remain who you are because that's who you were created to be. This is my interpretation of today's proverb, and I hope that you learn something from this, and I hope everyone learns from the wisdom of the Mali and through this proverb. With that, I'm going now to introduce our next speaker, Totalini, who's going to give us his interpretation of today's proverb. Totalini is a researcher, a designer, and educator. He's going to share with us today his interpretation of today's proverb. My friend Totalini, you have the mic.
Ivana, thank you very much for your interpretations and for being here today. Thank you, Simon, for creating this space as always. I think my interpretation aligns in a lot of ways with what Ivana just said. And when I read this proverb, two things came to my mind. One was Peter Tosh, the legendary reggae artist, and he had a song called African. And there's a few lines that stick in my head, and I think it's part of the chorus when he goes, "Doesn't care where you're from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. Doesn't matter. It does not matter your nationality. You got the identity of an African. It doesn't matter your complexion. You are still an African, no matter where you are in the world." And that for me reminds me of this proverb. The other one is my PhD advisor, who was fond of saying to me, whenever I would go off in some crazy direction, he will say, you can speak English all you want, but you will never be an Englishman. And for me, that kind of aligns with this proverb that a log remains a log. in the ocean doesn't magically turn into a fish just because it's in the ocean. Uh, for me, it's not necessarily about not belonging in the ocean. You can belong in a place, but still figure out a way to maintain your identity. And for me, that's really important, especially as an African who is teaching at a university in the US. It's important for me to be cognizant of my identity. It's important for me to stay true to who I am. And even if I don't stay true to who I am, whatever I'm pretending to be, I can never be that. I'm still that which I am. Thank you. I'm Totalini. I'm done speaking.
Stay true to who you are. I love it. I love that. Thank you so much, Totalini, for sharing your words of wisdom with us this morning. Now we're going to introduce Mama. Mama is a therapist. She's a holistic therapist living in Ecuador. Uh, she's also a Pan African, a Pan Afro activist. I'd love to hear from you, Mama, your interpretation of today's proverb. The mic is yours.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I hope everyone is a very good health. And this is true. Greetings from Ecuador, in the center of the world. And I am a Afro-Brazilian who lives here. And Simon, Guy, this is fantastic. This space is really nice. And I would like to tell you something that when I an Afro focus radio program that I called Voces de Ébano, or Ebony Voices. I start with the African proverbs, which are wonderful to teach people. And I was trying to find something in Clubhouse, and well, I found you. So this is very special. Thank you for this space. Thank you for sharing also. I believe that each person has their own nature, and that proverb speaks on this, and we cannot want to be what we are not. Of course, we can and we must improve our training as human beings, but I think that each one is born to fulfill a mission, and try to be what we are not cause a lot of trouble, and sometimes we try to show to the people something that we are not. So in this way, I believe that this proverb is very special to learn and to teach ourselves. So have a nice day. Please always shine to from our hearts. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you so much, Mama, for sharing. And you shared a lot of wisdom in this few minutes here. Now we're going to pass the mic to David. David is an IT specialist. Uh, he is someone that has a goal, a desire to end poverty, and he's a human rights activist. So he is interested in the human rights uh, area. He's a social entrepreneur. Now we're going to have David share with us his interpretation of today's proverb. David, you have the mic.
Thank you. Thank you, Venya, and thank you, Simon, for the opportunity. And also thank you, everybody who is on stage. and as well as those who are in the audience. Again, my name is David, and um, when I read this proverb, no matter how long a log stays in water, it doesn't become a crocodile. It did remind me of some of our leaders. I will specifically point out one leader, uh, uh, this Honorable Tom Mboya. During the time when we were getting independence, he was more of like an Africanist with other leaders in Africa, like the president of Ghana and also other president, Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba, if you guys can remember in Congo. And one point he was asked that now that the country has got independence, what is it that you want? And what kind of democracy are you guys looking for? And this is what he has to say, and I'll just kind of summarize it. He says that in Africa, the kind of social and political institutions that must make sense and find meaning in African setup. And then he said that in our setup, we did have a system, that we did have a governance system, we did have an empowerment system, we did have a nurturing system, we did have a learning models and system. So everybody was taken or looked into. I do want to say this because I also resonate with the whole identity. A crocodile will bite, a log will not. A crocodile will attack you when it is angry. A log does not know what is hunger. A crocodile moves in water freely and consciously. A log will float. It is based on waves. You know, wherever the current goes, that is where a log will go. A crocodile lives in water. A log stays, and probably if it stays longer, it will simply rot. So this identity is what actually it reminds me of, that when we do things in our community, in our African community, it was based on our identity. And that identity was clearly defined. You can check it out, Ubuntu, Ubunifu, those are concepts that worked for us. And even at one point when they wanted to do colonization, I remember somebody was sent to, I think, South Africa to find out if we can be colonized. And the gentleman said, no, those guys, they have everything. We cannot colonize them. They work hard, they have land, they have everything. So I just wanted to point out that that is our responsibility now. As a community, we are a system. And that is our social responsibility to reclaim our self-worth. I would then like to just conclude that what this proverb reminds me of is that do not copy someone else's identity. Do not embrace identity that will hurt you. You have to reclaim your self-worth. This is David, and I'm done speaking. Thank you, Simon.
Thank you so much, David. Man, wow, wow, wow. Oh, I have to digest all of this, David. And I like how you uh, spoke about identity, which is something a lot of people struggle with. Knowing who you are is important. Now we're going to pass the mic to our fearless leader, Mr. Simon Okello. You have the mic, Simon.
Thank you, Ivnia. Thank you for your, your leadership and your contribution to today's Daily African Proverbs, and also thank you, everyone who joined us in the room today. Many of you in the room actually, as we speak, also supported Africa Day celebration here on Clubhouse, and we are bringing back those memories. We are going to be playing the recordings from those conversations in the Africa Day Club. David could probably just share more details about that. I'll pass you the mic for a moment, David.
Thank you, Simon, again. Yes, so we will start the Africa Day session, and the first session is going to be on the Saturday, 9 p.m. PST, 12 p.m. EST. So you are all invited. Come in. We will be looking into what we had during the session, during the 24-hour marathon session, and play some of the tapes, invite some of the visitors, and recap what we do, just so that we can be able to, in a way, analyze some of the things and discuss them and have the conversation around them. So everybody's invited, please. It's on Saturday this week, starting on Saturday, 9 p.m. EST and 12 p.m. 9 p.m. PST and 12 p.m. EST. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. With that, I just want to thank you all again for being here with us for today's session of the Daily African Proverbs. We do this every single day, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And right after the room ends, we go live on Instagram for 15 minutes to share the recap of this conversation. So I would urge you to join us there. David is going to co-host it with me today. And it's happening right after this room ends, which is really now. But I want to also urge you to check out the recording of today's conversation on YouTube. It's going to be available right after this room here on Clubhouse ends. And follow the club, the African Father in America Club. Even if you're already a member, you can invite as many people as you want into the club, so that we can grow this community that supports African proverbs and African culture. With that, I am grateful, and I will see you all tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much.
African Father in America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. Africa, tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze. America. Tujikaze, tujikaze, jikaze.
You are listening to African Father in America podcast by Simon Javan Okello, live from Seattle, Washington, USA.